Hey everybody, and welcome to another installment of Dear Deja. I need you guys to really, before you do anything, right? Because I'll be getting barked on about this. Before you do anything, please go like this video. Please go like this video. Please go like this video. Go subscribe to my channel. Go share my content. Do whatever it is you need to do. But please make sure go like the video right now. Before I even read the Dear Deja letter, go like the video. Okay, because all my friends have been telling me I need to get folks to start liking my videos and so on and so forth, right? But anywho, welcome to another installment of Dear Deja. Okay, so I know y'all like to get it going. Y'all don't like to do too much talking before the reading of the letter. So let me just say thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for sharing my content, and thank you for the support. So let's get into this Dear Deja letter. I have 3 this week that are going to drop. I'm on a roll here. Okay, so let's get it started. Dear Deja, I finally, this wig is so cute. I finally just gave birth to a handsome baby boy last month after trying for the past 8 years with my fiance. Long story. The majority of my inner circle has children that are still in their adolescent years, so I'm not that far behind. There is 2 women in our inner circle who are currently trying to get pregnant, and it has been a struggle. I guess with me being the newbie to the group, it made one of the friends feel more compelled to ask me could she be the godmother of my child. First of all, I thought that the parents were supposed to choose the godparents and ask them if they would like to take on that role. But maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I'm writing you because I love my friend, I really do. But in my opinion, this is solely based on seeing her with our friends' kids and her nieces and nephews. She does not have the capacity to care for a child, and more importantly, not mine. She's not a bad person and I love her, but I'm not willing to leave the care of my child to her in any event, anything, I think she meant, something happens to me or her dad. Even if I wanted to, Dad has made it clear that the answer is no. And to be honest, I agree with Dad. I have to tell my friend because she's been bugging me about it, but I have to find a way to let her down easy without hurting her feelings. Signed, please help. Get somebody else to do it. I'm going to get somebody else to do it. Okay. I don't know. My allergies are fake acting up. I don't know, you guys. Okay, before I get started, let's see what I'm sipping on. I have a good old shot of Syrah. I'm about to go on a fast and stop drinking for a little while. I have a glass of Riesling, which I love. And I have a cup of ice cold water, which I need, right? So you guys get your drink, and let's get into this response. The response to this letter, I feel like, is going to be a little similar to a letter that I just read. If you guys heard my response to I'm gay, I don't go that way, that letter, it seems like some of what I shared with that young man needs to be shared with this young lady for this letter, because it seems like almost like the same kind of issue. But let's comb through it. Let me take a shot, start drinking my wine. That vodka, boy, hit your chest. Okay. Woo. Okay. First, let me start off by saying congratulations. Congratulations, you're a new mom. Like you said, it has taken some time for you to get there. You know, it's you and your fiance, right? So that's a beautiful thing. Congratulations on baby boy. You know, much health and wealth to you on the journey, so on and so forth, right? I'm so happy to hear that for you and your future hubby-to-be, right? That's part A. Part B is that I love the fact that you have such a beautiful friend group and such a supportive circle where you have somebody willing to say, hey, I would love to step in and, you know, care for your child in the event that anything happens. And I want to be very, very close to your child and in their life, you know, on this journey. So that's a beautiful thing, right? That's a beautiful thing. Let's applaud that friend. Because not many people have people that are going to step up and say, hey, I want to take on this hell of a job. And then not only to say they want to take it on, but to actually follow through with it. You know, that's a very big deal. So shout out to your friend for even thinking about wanting to be the godparent of your child, right? I can honestly say that's a beautiful thing. Another thing I'm going to say is that you said something pertaining to the parents choosing the godparents parents, and and then asking if they would like to take on that duty and if they would be honored to do it, and so on and so forth, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you, homegirl, that has been my experience, right? That has been my experience. I know that my mom and dad picked my godmother Lisa Brown, and then Lisa Brown said, hey, I would be more than happy, and so on and so forth. Here we are 41 years later, and she is still one of my favorite people in the world, and I love her dearly, right? When I became the godparent of my friend's children, I think maybe one or two of them may have asked me, and I think the other ones, it was just assumed that was the role that I would take on because I was so close to them at that time, right? So that's pretty much, I see where you're going with saying that piece. I definitely understand what you're saying there. And I also feel like we live in a world today where, we have choices. We have choices. So I think that you and dad could choose how y'all want to go about the godparent process. Right? I think you and dad can choose how y'all want to go about the godparent process, and y'all can make that work for y'all, right? I don't think it has to be cut and dry the way anybody else wants to do it. It can be what you and dad want because you guys are the parents of the baby, right? So I think if you guys are choosing to say, listen, we don't want anybody volunteering to be the godparent of our child, we want to pick and choose who we would like, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. As long as you and dad are on the same page about that, y'all in agreement, and y'all think that's a good idea, baby, do your thing. Nobody can't be mad about that. But the reason why I said that this kind of sounds like the other letter, it doesn't sound like the other letter, but why I said that I might have to give similar feedback is because it sounds like it might be a boundaries issue here. But when I'm thinking about it right now as we combing through it, I don't know if it's a boundary issue. It might just be, you having a sore spot for this young lady because you may know what she's growing through, right? Because one of the things that you did say was, you said that, you and, I'm sorry, you guys. You said that you and dad finally got pregnant after 8 years, right? And you said it seems like that was a struggle for you and dad the way you described it. And then you said this other young lady seems to be having some struggles as well. And she has not, as of yet, has been that lucky. So I think a part of you is kind of feeling bad because, dag, she's going through what I've been through. So I think it will hurt her feelings if I say to her, oh no, I don't want you to be the godparent of my child. You could let me know in a future letter or a one-on-one session if I'm hitting the nail on the head. I personally feel like I'm hitting the nail on the head there, and I think you do have a sore spot for her because it seems like, you're very familiar with that journey when you were trying to conceive your own kid. And don't get me wrong, I understand that level of compassion, right? That's really nice, that's really sweet, and I think that the fact that you're considering her feelings says that you're a really good friend. You're a really good friend, which is a beautiful thing. Good friends are hard to come by, right? Take another shot. Swallow it. But as I said, I'm gay, I don't go that way. I'm gonna have to say to you, mama love, right? In all relationships, boundaries are a requirement. Let me repeat that. Let me get up on the camera. In all relationships, boundaries are requirements. Right? Oh, my back teeth look good. Yes, bitch. Back teeth is back teething. Anyway, boundaries are a requirement. Boundaries are a requirement, right? Boundaries are a requirement. Boundaries are a requirement because no one person is identical to the next. You and a person can have similar traits. Y'all can have grown up the same. Y'all could even grown up in the same goddamn house and been raised by the same people. No two people are identical ever in life, right? And because you and another person don't mirror, sometimes there will be things that you feel, and someone else doesn't feel, and you feeling those things make you happy. And because the other person may not feel what you feel, they can't really see how it makes you happy, so they don't honor or respect what you feel, right? The reason why you're creating the boundaries is because you want a person to honor and respect your feelings, right? Even if they don't agree with them. Let me say that again. The reason why we create boundaries is because we want folks to honor and respect our feelings, even if they don't agree with them. Let me say that one more time, right? We create boundaries and we enforce boundaries because we want people to honor and respect what we feel, even if they don't agree with our feelings. And the reason why we say that is because what we feel is very, very specific for us. It makes us who we are. It helps, complete us. It helps to help us grow and deal and maneuver around in this world just going off your feelings alone. So having boundaries is not a bad thing, right? I understand that you sympathize and empathize with this young lady because she is struggling to, conceive. I could imagine that would be hard for anybody who wants a child, right? I've sat around folks, and I even have folks right now who are very sad, and we have very deep, in-depth conversations because they want a child and they're not able to conceive, right? So it's a difference when you're not conceiving and you don't really care about not conceiving, right? But it's another thing when you want a child and you can't conceive, right? So I could understand how you are sympathizing and empathizing with your friend because it's like, listen, me and my man was going through this for 8 years, so I know what you're going through. So because of that, I think you feel a little guilt about having to say, bestie McSestie, I got mad love for you, right? But this is not something that I want to do, right? And I think that you probably only feel the guilt of saying that because you know how bad she wants to conceive, and you know that, her being able to do this for you would make her happy. That's nice. That's a beautiful thing. And I'm glad that you're very much aware of what would make another person happy. But right now, we're talking about the happiness of your child and the well-being of your child and the happiness of yourself. And if we're discussing those two things, then we have to put them as top priority over everything else. You're a mom now. So whatever your kid needs and that is best for your child, that's what you have to do, even if that means offending or hurting other people. Now, granted, right, I think you're smart enough girls to know that there are ways to do this, right? There are ways to do this. I'm sorry, you guys. I need to fix this. There are ways to get this done where you're not just, making a person feel like shit because they can't do something they want to do regarding you, right? There's ways to do this. There's ways to convey this, right? So what I think you should do is think about the approach. Think about the approach because you know what she's going through, so you can speak from a space of, I know how badly you want a baby. I know how badly me having a baby and you seeing me go through that journey impacts you because it gives you hope. And I know being able to care for my baby would definitely give you more hope in regards to having your own and, your journey and so on and so forth, right? You get that part, right? And I think your approach should come from that standpoint. That's just my personal opinion. I think your approach should come from that standpoint. I think you should come from the space of, I know how important having a child is to you and caring for a child is to you, which is why you asked me for something so important, right? Which is why you asked me for something so crucial because it's important to you. And I think you can kind of share with her that you do care about what's important to her and you do love her and you do want what's best for her. But at this time, you don't have the capacity to only think about your friendship. You have to really think about your child. And you also have to consider your child's dad. Because that's another thing. Let's just say you were totally and completely on board with saying, hey, my homegirl going to be the godmother and it's going to be lit. He could still be like, excuse me? I'm sorry, what? That's a no. That's a no for me. That's a no. And then it would be an issue because even though you feel comfortable, dad has said it's a no, and dad has just as much say so as you, Mom. right? So it wouldn't be fair to make a decision without having him on board when it comes to the young person. So I think when you approach her to share with her about choosing godparents, I think your approach should be, well, let's start here, my dear. No offense to you, but me and dad wanted to sit down and comb through what choices we had for godparents for our young person, right? And I think she has to understand that dad is here, dad is present, and dad is 50% of this choice that I'm making, right? So even if I do want you to be the godparent of my child, I have to consider what dad's feelings are, right? So I think that could be your initial approach. Like, listen, we want to choose the godparents for our child as opposed to, just allowing people to be that just because they ask. And in the choice making, I have to consider his dad. So let me consult with, so on and so forth. So I think when you come from that perspective, if she's mature, she will understand, like, okay, I get it. You this is not only on you. This is, a collective decision-making process, and I just have to fall back and allow y'all to do what y'all do, right? I also think that if you're going to choose no for her being the godparent of your child, I would have to question, is there some capacity that she can be in your child's life, right? In what capacity could she be in your child's life, according to you guys, right? So I know for some of my kids, for some of my friends' kids, I'm not the godparent, but I'm Auntie Deja, right? So that means that, I do little auntie duties here and there. I'm not their biological aunt, but I step in when I can. I do what I can. I maneuver how I can maneuver, right? And that's still me being a part of the young person's life and having my own relationship with them and, feeling confident in that relationship and the parents allowing it because I do have a role. It just may not be the one that I, assumed or the one that I wanted, but it's still a role, right? So is there a way for you to create this space that she would still have a position in your baby's life and be able to have a relationship with your baby without it being that particular role that she wants? Is that possible? Because if so, I think when you present to her about, it's not only my decision to make, so on and so forth, you could kind of ease the blow with, but even if we don't choose for you to be the godparent, you can be the baby's cool aunt. You can be the babysitter on this. Like there's other roles that she can play if you feel comfortable with that. Because that's the reality of the situation. You have to go with what comforts you. You have to also consider what comforts dad. You have to triple consider what's best for the baby, right? So even though it could be a whole thought process of, I've been around her this amount of time. I think she's a nice girl. I see her with other people. That's what you see, what you know, what you feel. Now you got to consider what dad see, what dad know, what dad feel. And then after y'all two figure out what y'all know, see, and feel, y'all also now have to factor in, hold on, which is the number one factor. What's best for our baby? What is best for our baby? I feel like, take some of my wine. I feel like I have friends and family members, and this is just me being real, that wouldn't elect for me to be left with their child because I come across very stern, right? So if you're raising your young person and you're a little bit more lenient on them and, that's just the way you do your baby because you know your baby. I'm not knocking that. I think if anything was to happen, some friends and family members would be like, no, I don't think Deja is a bad caretaker. But I do believe her style of caretaking is not what's conducive to my baby. So because of that, I'm not going to elect for her to be the godparent because if anything happened to us, I don't want my kid being raised in boot camp, right? Because, that's just Deja's style of caretaking. She can be very stern and, to some degree. That doesn't offend me. That doesn't offend me, right? I probably would be more offended if you felt like, I wasn't going to care enough or put enough effort into that type of thing would offend me. But just to know that you're raising your young person a particular way and you paid attention to my traits and behaviors enough to know how I would raise a young person and that's not conducive to what you guys are trying to do as parents, that's why you didn't select me, I would have to understand as an adult and respect that. right? So I think you just have to lay it out bare for your friend, you know, in a compassionate and loving way that would have her see, like, no, I mean, it's not the end of the world that I'm not getting to be the godparent, because I am going to assume some role and have some relationship with the child. But the flip side of that is I still get to be a part of this baby's life, right? And again, putting titles on things, it is what it is, right? As long as you have the relationship, because I always tell people, you can put a title on anything. You know how many bitches walk around and say they're a wife? Yeah, girl. you know how many women walk around and say they're a mother? Are you? Okay, girl. You know, titles are what they are, right? Titles are what they are. It's actions and the behaviors behind the titles that give it substance. Right? So another person could be the godparent. And that doesn't have to offend you. That doesn't have to bother you, because maybe the parents didn't select you for that role in particular. But if there is some role that your friend can have in a child's life, maybe offering that to her because you feel comfortable with her having that particular role and not the one that she's advocating for. And again, a simple, honest, and compassionate conversation could really, really, really make this situation grow in a space that will make it best for the both of you, the baby and the pappy. Now, let me get a flip side of that. Right? We as women, me included and me especially, we're very emotional. So you may lay it down to your friend very compassionate. You may give her another role. You may do everything that I just said to you, and she may still harbor feelings about her not being chosen to be the godparent. Can't please them all. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we have to consider what is conducive to the child and what makes the parents feel comfortable, right? And if her not getting what she wants is going to be an issue for her, when you have laid it out and explained it to the best of your ability, and you also provided her with options so she can have that relationship with the child that she would have if she, then at that point you have to just say, listen, these are my barriers. They are here created. They're standing tall and firm. And as my friend, if you love me, whether you agree with them or not, you're going to honor and respect them. And guess what, my dear? She may not. That is what it is. You know, but you have to make sure you stand solid and you stand firm and you stay in unison with dad about the best decisions to make for your brand new baby boy. Because at the end of the day, if God forbid something happens to you or dad, you do want to feel like I left my baby with someone who I felt had the best intentions for their upbringing. Right now, granted, right? You may pick the wrong, right? And things may go left 2-3 years down the line after you chose that person. Hey, it happens. But you went in it with the best intentions for things to go well or for how you chose that person. Right? So I think you can go to your friend. I think you can have dialogue with your friend. I think you can be honest with your friend. I think you can be compassionate with your friend's feelings. And also I think you can offer your friend options. And I think after you've done everything that you could do, my dear, I think you need to bow out gracefully and let her make the decision that she needs to make. If the decision is, listen, I'm not the godmommy, but I'm the cool auntie, I'm the great babysitter, I'm the this, I'm the that, and that works for you and that, hey, by all means, rock out with your cock out. But if it presents an issue within a friendship, then you have to understand that that may not be, you know, a friend you can continue to move forward with. And not in a bad way. It's just because you guys are not in alignment and you don't want to keep bumping heads because you're totally in two different spaces. You know, so that's what I got for you, girlfriend. That's what I got for you. If you were doing an Operation Hill 100 Heart session one-on-one, that's how we would set it off, start it off, and we would get moving from there. What I will say to you is I do love the fact that you empathize and sympathize with her and her journey, because I can imagine how rough it is to be sitting across from someone that wants something that you have achieved, right? It's hard. It's hard, right? And I think that your level of compassion shows because look, you wrote in and you said, hey, how can I do this the right way? Khadijah, if it's the right way, help me, right? And I just gave you all the tools that I have, my dear. I just, in this last 24 minutes, 25 minutes, gave you all the tools that I have to navigate the situation that's best for you, best for the baby, best for your hubby, and best for your friend. Alrighty, so listen, you guys, y'all get on my nerves. Like I said, even if you do not return with another letter, but you come in for a one-on-one session, I would appreciate that because I don't get to hear what happens after I give out this bomb-ass advice. Hello? But I do appreciate everybody who writes in letters. I do appreciate, how dedicated people are to trusting me with their personal and private information and allowing me to give them feedback that whether they take it or not, at least they wanted to hear it. That is so major for me. And I promise, I pray you guys come out of that secret space and reveal who you are because you are the people who I will be celebrating and honoring in I'll just say it. Next year, Operation Heal 100 Hearts will be 10 years old. Bitch, let me take a sip. You talking about, you see how you said it was a journey for you and your man this last 8 years? These last 10 has been a freaking journey for me. This year is year 9. Next year is year 10. I don't even want to start talking about it on this video because I would start crying. I'll get into it in another video. But I just want you to know, I would love for you to give me some feedback about how this advice worked for you or if it didn't work for you. I just would love to hear what happened because you are one of the people that I would love to celebrate within Operation Heal 100 Hearts. Again, I'm open for your one-on-one session. Let me know you ready. Let me know when you ready. Let me know. I'm here. So, reveal yourself and let's do the self-work. Let's do the self-work because I think this is a friendship that can last and grow and withstand this situation. It just has to be handled with care and done properly. Alrighty, so thank you for writing in. I loved your letter. I hope you liked my feedback. Let me know. Keep me posted. Ladies and gentlemen, Dear Dejas are dropping all week and y'all are not freaking ready. Let's go.